Hey guys, I'm envadr and I've been playing Modern Warfare Zombies for the past week now, and I started off as a very big noob. I mean, dying in the tier 1 zone on my first game was something that I'm not proud of, but you know what, I'll say it. Because right now I am pretty confident in my ability to stay up in the tier 3 zone as a solo, so I thought let me gather 10 mistakes that I used to do that I'm not doing right now that have improved my gameplay in Modern Warfare Zombies. Starting off with understanding how contracts actually work. A lot of newer players don't know how to utilize contracts properly. In Modern Warfare Zombies, there's a plethora of contracts, and some contracts are way easier than others, but sometimes you get these certain missions that require you to shoot a certain target, such as those that require you to kill hounds with the cryo mod. For such, I highly recommend that you do an outlast contract. These seem to spawn a lot of hounds. In case your mission requires manglers, escort missions are really good for those. And if you're only looking for a quick buck and maybe a perk or a nice reward, then just go for a bounty. If you are looking for mercenary targets, then make sure to do the defend ground station. This always spawns a lot of mercenaries, but watch out, it is one of the most dangerous out there. Matter of fact, my first game ever, that was the first contract that I picked up and I died trying to do it. Deliver cargo is arguably one of the easiest also, and it gives you an armored vehicle over the reward for completing the mission, but by far I would say bounties are the fastest to complete, especially when you have decent guns. Something to explain also is that the contract payout is strictly tied to where the contract belongs. Tier 1 contracts always pay 2,000, tier 2 contracts always pay 3,000, which is 50% more, and tier 3 contracts pay 5,000. And of course, it goes without saying, the deeper you go within the tiers, the better you expect their rewards to be. Let's talk about acquisitions, because arguably these are what make Modern Warfare Zombies what it is, an extraction zombies game mode. And if you utilize these things properly, you will be able to start your match with a double pack-a-punch legendary gun, but this only comes with time and higher risk. So to learn how these schematics work and how to make proper use of them, hear me out. When it comes to acquisitions, you have your crystals, you have your ether tools, you have your perks, you have your ammo mods. Those are the most basic. At extreme cases, you will have literally weapon cases, so perhaps a ray gun or a Wunderwaffe, but you don't have to worry about those right now. Basically, how you want to approach acquisitions is that before you are dropping into the match, think, what do you want to do? Do you just want to spend the whole time in tier 1? If so, then you don't really need to pack a punch. But if you have an uncommon tool or a rare tool, then bring it with you, because it will help with the damage of the gun quite a bit. And perhaps by the time you are done farming within tier 1, perhaps you are doing contracts or you are just farming XP, you will have gathered enough money to pack a punch at a pack a punch machine without using a crystal. However, if your intention is to go into tier 2 where the rewards are higher but also the risk is higher, then make sure to spawn in with a crystal and a rare tool or higher. This will give you a leg up in the entire match, as you will save a lot of time trying to farm in tier 1 and actually get really decent loot within tier 2. But I hear you saying, but I don't have a crystal to spawn in with to begin. Well, the best place to find those crystals is within strongholds, specifically infested strongholds. They do also come by as rewards when you are doing bounties or contracts in general within tier 2. So my advice to you is get some courage, pack a punch your gun off the rip and get into tier 2, because trust me, it is much rewarding living in tier 2 than just staying in tier 1. And if you don't believe me, look at my stash. So the general rule of thumb for crystals, if you find a crystal within the first 15 minutes and your gun is still not pack a punched and you don't have money, then use that crystal because it will help you within the rest of the game. Same goes for the tools. However, if you find a crystal towards the end of the match, do not use that crystal. Save it for the next round, because this will give you a really good startup next round and you can accomplish way more. Same goes with the tools. However, I did find the tools to be much more common within those orbs that you see flying around and you shoot them. Talking about ammo mods, these are good, but I don't count them as necessary. Apply them as you see them within the game, and if you have any in your stash, then bring them in, use them. In any case, they are not that rare, they are pretty common, so might as well take advantage of them. And bonus tip, if you don't know how these ammo mods work, usually each ammo mod activates at a certain interval. So in the case of Shadow Blast, every 25 seconds it recharges, and then the first few bullets that you shoot after 25 seconds, you will apply Shadow Blast to the next zombie. Another huge problem that I see a lot of new beginners skip is that they skip on doing missions. And those missions can be really rewarding, not only with XP, but they also give you money. Even even though they don't explicitly say that, they do. This is in addition to the random perk that you get at the completion at every mission, and this is also magnified when you have teammates also doing the same mission, because if you are completing that same mission as a team, you will get 2 random perks for free just by completing that mission. This is not to mention the rewards that go beyond the round itself, such as schematics, blueprints, loading screens, and other cosmetics, and you can see those rewards in the menu or when you open up your minimap. I mean, look at this mission, it literally gives you a ray gun as a reward. So keep your eyes peeled on those missions and grind them out. Let's hop onto assimilation, because this is arguably one of the best features that is very underutilized, especially by beginners into this game. Teaming up is a very important feature within DM Zombies. If you find a friendly person nearby that is not in your squad, make sure to invite them to your team. Or if you are playing solo, then request to join their squad. And to do that, you need to hold the button that you used to ping, and then choose the option with either your mouse or your right stick, either to invite people into your squad or request to join them. And you can also use the same method if somebody else invites you into their squad, to accept or deny. Having more people on your squad will mean that anybody that picks up those green power-ups, you will also get those too, even if you are on the other side of the map. And it also means that anybody on the team that completes a mission, you will also get a random perk alongside some extra money with them. The only downside I see to having extra members on your team is if you split up and you start a contract, then the other part of the team won't be able to start their contract. I hope in the future they will add a leave team feature, just in case you want to do your own thing and just split up from your current team. On the same note, another feature that is very much underutilized is bleeding, and this is very important for beginners. You see, when you are dead and you are still bleeding out, anybody that is around you will be able to revive you even if they are not on your team. But in case you do bleed out, you are still able to have a second chance. On keyboard and mouse, I just use the button F or E, and on controller you can just hold down. Now of course it could be different for you depending on your keybinds, so always check the button on the bottom that says hold to plea for help. When you plea for help, you will send a signal that goes around 500 meters, and anyone in that radius will be able to come and pick you up. When you are picked up, you don't have to join their team, but they have the option to invite you into their team. And if they do, it's up to you if you want to accept it or not. As you see in this example, this fella helped us out and we invited him into our team. He also gets the reward for the contract that we just accomplished. Talking about dying in game, let's avoid that. And the next tips are gonna be focusing on avoiding these. For one, always try to use your field upgrade when you are in panic. There are many field upgrades that are currently in the game. Energy mine is the default and it can come in super clutch, especially if you are being cornered. Place that energy mine on the floor by clicking X, or on controller you press L1 and R1, and this mine will decimate any zombies in the area. There are many field upgrades that are super helpful and you may want to check them out. One of my other favorite is called Healing Aura, and this thing is so overpowered that even if you had 5 people down on your team and you have your Healing Aura, when you activate that, it will revive them all. Make sure to check those field upgrades in the menus and read what they do. A lot of them are pretty much self-explanatory and they are the most clutch utility in the game. The next most clutch utility in the game has to be decoy grenades and monkey bombs. Also the Casimir grenade, which I just call it the purple nade. All of these are super important, and what they do is that when you throw a decoy grenade, zombies instantly switch focus from you onto that decoy grenade, and if you are being swarmed, this is the most clutch utility out there just because of how quick it activates. Monkey bombs on the other hand take a little bit longer to arm, but they also attract the zombies for a longer time, and when the timer runs out, they explode and kill all the zombies around them. These can be insanely clutch if a teammate goes down and you need to revive. You just chuck a monkey bomb, pull that revive off, and run away while the zombies are still gathering around that monkey. The Casimir grenade is insanely powerful also, as it will create a small black hole which will suck all the zombies around it, except for the bosses. And another hidden feature within this purple nade is that the moment you throw it, you are able to run into it to teleport a little bit further away. So you could use this grenade not only to kill zombies, but also as an escape mechanism. Another huge tip that helps me survive while I'm playing is shooting while plating. You see, in zombies, it's a little bit different from other game modes. While in other game modes, you put your gun away to plate up and you will run faster while plating. In zombies, you can only walk while plating, but you will have that gun always in your hand. So a very common strategy to actually survive more is that pull off your reload, and while you are shooting, always keep plating up. In case your health goes low, and you are plating, the damage that is being absorbed by the plates will still allow you to heal because that damage is not going to your base health. And this is where hipfire builds come in play. Learning how to build your gun properly for Modern Warfare Zombies will help you a lot in this game. The best attachments that I can recommend that you use on your gun are the Cronin Groove Shot Underbarrel, which helps a lot with tac stance and hipfire, the Corvus Laser, or whichever is the equivalent for that gun. Basically, if you look at the details, you see that it helps the most with hipfire and tac stance. There's the Breacher Muzzle also, which helps a lot with hipfire, surprisingly. Basically, nailing it down to the basics, you want to add whatever attachments that will tighten up your hipfire. And when it comes to the magazine, don't always go for the biggest magazine out there. After all, mobility is key within zombies. And if you put on a very heavy magazine, the zombies will catch up to you and they will damage you regardless of you having more bullets. Instead, go for a medium-sized magazine. Something that will allow you to shoot for long, but reload quick and always stay on the move. Talking about guns, something that is very much ignored by beginners is the weapon tier. You see, weapon tiering helps quite a lot with the damage output of the gun. A lot of people think about Pack-a-Punch as the main source of upgrade for the gun, but weapon tiering is equally as important to Pack-a-Punch, if not even more. You see, weapon tiers go from gray to green to blue to purple, and then legendary being the golden guns, they're dealing the most damage out of those, and the gray guns dealing the least damage. And if you don't care about the gun itself, always prefer a legendary gun over a lower tier gun and use that to Pack-a-Punch it. Deeper through the round, if you have a legendary gun that is triple Pack-a-Punched, you will be able to mow through tier 3 zombies with no problem at all. Matter of fact, one of the biggest strategies right now to farm tier 3 is off the rip, gather some money and go into tier 3 to buy a gun off the wall, which they usually have a really high chance of being legendary and dealing really good damage. Just take that gun and go back to the tier 2 zone where you are able to complete contracts, gather a bit more money and get that gun Pack-a-Punched. However, I do not recommend this strategy for beginners as it does require you to go to the tier 3 zone with very minimal loot, but hey, I'm putting it out there. If you're feeling confident enough, go for it. Last but not least, I want to talk about the dog. So there is a friendly dog that you can pick up in Urzikstan, and what you need to do for this is you need to gather any meat that you find on the floor. It is not a super common drop from zombies, so just keep your eyes peeled for it. It says something like chunks of flesh or chunks of meat, and gather those as you move on. When you see a dog house around the map, make sure to put this meat into that dog house, and when you put enough meat into it, a friendly dog will come out that will be part of your team, will be able to revive you, and will take in a lot of damage from zombies and a lot of focus off of you. These dogs can come in insanely clutch with the revive, as they do use the healing aura, and even if your entire team goes down, they will be able to revive you. And I haven't witnessed a single dog die within the tier 2 or tier 1 zones. However, in the tier 3 zone, it might take a beating, so keep your eye peeled for it. A couple bonus tips here towards the end is that you are able to exfil if you are down in the exfil chopper. Even if the zombies come up to the exfil chopper and they down you and you don't have a self revive, just wait there, don't rage quit. When the exfil chopper takes off, you will be able to exfil with all of your stuff and retain everything. And the last bonus tip right here I would like to say, to find a more consistent spawn of 2 plates and 3 plates, mercenary camps always have 2 plates. Just make sure to clear the camp and go to the box in the middle, loot up that 2 plate and take that stronghold card, because if you do want a 3 plate, mercenary strongholds have a 100% spawn rate of 3 plates within the safe within that stronghold. However, this goes without saying, expect heavy resistance. And if you'd like to see a guide on me regaining from 0 to hero, coming in with barely anything and coming out with the best gear out there, then make sure to subscribe to this channel because this video is coming up real soon. I hope you enjoyed and goodbye!